Hey guys, welcome to the
vlog.
Your
voice is so soft and quiet right now.
I know. So this is a story vlog. I know you guys love these. You've been requesting us to do more. So for those of you who stumbled across this page by accident or a friend led you here, hi, I'm Tiff.
And I am Cari.
We do a lot of stuff on this channel. It's a very eclectic channel.
Yes.
Today we are actually going to finally tell you one of the most requested stories.
I think that you're right, yeah.
Oh yeah. Our coming out stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who may not know what coming out is, but coming out is a term used for any population who wants to come out as not straight, really.
Really, yeah.
Very careful the wording you use, because a lot of people used to say, you know, coming out as not normal. But what is normal anyway? You know, so it's stories that people tell when they identify as something other than not straight.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe people will have coming out straight stories later. Who knows? We're not going to judge. But Cari would like to go first.
Well,
you said you wanted to.
I didn't think it was just going to be like, Andy, go ahead.
Well, I mean, let's just jump into it.
Well,
I know that you really don't. I know that you're nervous, and I know you really don't know a lot of it. So, before you met me, you liked men. You think you did?
In men.
Okay.
Yes, I had never been in a relationship before.
Really?
So,
Right.
Really.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And how old were you?
When I met you?
Yeah.
24?
I think you might have been 25 or 26.
25?
That's why I did all my math before we started, and you were laughing at me when I was asking Alexa a bunch of stuff.
I was trying to think if I ran my half marathon before.
You did.
Or after.
You ran your half marathon after we met. You went down to Disney in February.
Well, we
were dating then.
I ran my first half marathon for my 25th birthday. So then it would have been 24, 25.
Okay. I'm glad we got that settled.
Yes.
Because that's important.
It really is.
You have to know how old you are when you come out.
Exactly. Anyways, so I had never been in a relationship before with a man or with a woman. And so I think that's kind of important to know.
Right. Well, you dated men. You'd never dated women.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
I'm just trying to be completely clear.
I had been in nothing serious before.
That's fine.
So, and then I met you, and my whole life and perspective changed. Yeah, so...
Stop being nervous.
I'm so nervous. I'm
picking
getting
up a ball.
Really fidgety now.
All right, so tell me the story. So you and I met. We actually met through several friends. I mean, it's so strange. Yeah. We kind of talked about this before, like how we met. But we met through friends, and we just ended up one day talking online.
Yes.
And I wasn't in a relationship, and I think you were kind of doing your own thing. You had some dates, and I had some fun things to say about those dates. Not that I even liked her. I was kind of like, you know, I mean, I was analyzing everything at that point, you know, so.
Yeah, that's true. You analyze everything.
Oh, yeah. I'm a psychologist. Yeah. That's what we do.
So we became just really close friends really fast. Yeah. And the feelings surpassed that of a friendship. Yeah. So in the tradition of coming out, you come out to yourself and then you come out to your family. Right. So how did that transpire? Well, to my family? Yeah. Well, I told some of my siblings first. My sister Lisa already knew because I made that video for you. Which we should show them someday. I know that you want some things we like to keep private. Nobody wants to see a baby Cari. Cari made me one of the most beautiful videos that anyone's ever made me in my entire life, and I still cry when I look at it. I was asking Tiffany to be my girlfriend because Tiffany asked me a few times to be her girlfriend, and I said no. So she did. So, and I'm pretty
traditional as far as most things go, and I just wanted that to happen, and Cari was very adamantly
I was just
saying no.
I guess on my own terms.
Yeah, that's fine.
Kind of like Prim.
Yep.
Yeah. So I made this video, and I made it on my sister's computer, and I thought I deleted it while she saw it. So she had just been waiting for me to tell her.
Which, that was awesome.
My siblings were just like, whatever, you know.
And they were all nice. I had already met them several times before this, and it was kind of cool that they said that.
And then I had to tell I told my mom, really. But before I got the nerve up to tell my mom, I was in the middle of moving into my first apartment. And I'm sitting on the floor in my bedroom packing, and my mom comes in and she says, Cari, I have a question for you. Okay, Mom, what is it? Are you and Tiffany...
Cari and I had so much fun doing this for the longest time. Yeah. Every once in a while we still will, and it's really nostalgic.
And I'm like, yeah. And then I start crying, and she was just, it's okay. And then she had, questions throughout the next few weeks about things, but she was fine with it. I couldn't have been happier. And then
the best in-laws I could have ever asked for.
She did all the work telling my dad and my grandparents, so it was even better. Thanks, Mom!
It's good that Cari went first, because in my opinion, Cari got off pretty light.
Oh, I would agree.
And it was 2012 when you came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Well, we met
because we met in 2011, so you just didn't come out right away.
We really started dating around the new year.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, I have a cat hair.
You do.
That did I get it?
You must have.
I mean, it swooped up in there, and it was just
it's all right.
Dangling.
My nose itches a lot. These guys probably have
Oh man, this is what you do. This happens. We're people just like everyone else. I mean, I'm surprised you haven't caught me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. I'm a lady.
I'm surprised you haven't caught me doing.
Get out of there. Okay, so I just want to say something about your experience. I know that there was... You gotta let the cattail up in there. It just wouldn't be the same. Oh, just missed it. I know that on New Year's, when we first kind of started dating, that I may have told Brittany, Britter Fritter for you, Craig, that you and I were dating. And I've always kind of felt bad about that. And I think it's, because Brittany was one of your best friends and I barely knew her.
Right.
And I don't remember the situation, but it's not something that I can take back. If I could, I would, because I kind of feel like I pressured you into telling her when it was already so obvious that we were together that day already. But, it's not like we were hiding anything. But I think it's really important that the partner, the lover, the, boyfriend, girlfriend, really not pressure, into doing that. I'm trying to remember the context of the conversation. But the other thing I wanted to say is when you were painting for your new apartment, you were painting something, and I remember handing you an orange slab.
Yeah.
And if you want to take over, I think you know where I'm going because it's your mom.
Well, I just think that's the moment my mom realized what was going on. But she wasn't going to ask me in front of you. She waited until I went home to pack.
Which is really funny because it's not like I said, hey, you want a slice of orange? And rub the orange on her mouth. No, I just went, here's some orange. Because she was literally had paint on her.
Right.
And we were starving, so I hurried up and, peeled some oranges. And I was like, here you go. I think I handed some to your mom, too. I mean, at that point,
probably.
I wasn't trying to be all orange sexual.
Right.
So anyway, I think that might have, I'm glad you said that because I've always thought that was possibly the moment.
I think that was,
that your mom thought that.
Yeah.
So, for not having a long coming out story, I just want you to know it's been about 10 minutes.
Oh, all right.
So, I think that you do have a pretty good story.
Well, thanks.
I wish mine had gone as smoothly as yours.
I wish yours had gone as smoothly as mine, too.
Yes. So I came out to my mother about 18 years ago. Yes, I came out in 1999, and I was partying like it was 1999 at the moment, or at that moment. I was in the basement at my aunt's house because that's where I lived at the time. I loved living with my aunt. It was awesome. I had just changed jobs, and I was 23, so I got transferred to a place that was right by her house.
You just aged yourself.
Oh, I don't care. Everybody knows how old I am now, so who cares?
I know.
Blink 182, Nobody Likes You When You're 23. That was like the main song. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So I had started dating a woman. I think it was December 1st, so it would have been 30 days that I pretty much had kept the secret. Mm-hmm. And I received a lot of pressure from her. Shocking that the relationship didn't work out. To tell my mother, because now I don't keep normally, hang on, but I've already received my wish.
Oh,
tenfold. So, anyway, I don't keep secrets from my mother, but I was kind of waiting for the right time. And since I had just pretty much transferred, I just got comfortable in where I was staying, and my mom was there, and they were celebrating New Year's. We were all celebrating New Year's. My aunt's house, to this day still, is kind of like the hub for our family. It is one of the places in my life that I know that I could go to no matter what. My aunt would welcome me in, and by looking at her, man, you could think that she was this cold-hearted, like just, I mean, I could say all these like crazy things, but this woman has more love for people than I've ever known. She's amazing. And I've always thought it's weird that she fills her 8-ounce glass up with half coffee and half water. And nothing else. I don't even like coffee.
She waters it down?
Yeah, it's just... Anyway, moving on. So we were at her house, and I decided to tell my mother, and we were in the laundry room because, again, I was staying in the basement. And we just had a death in the family. So a bunch of family were over, and my family, they really do not drink alcohol. I'm not really a huge drinker either. It's very occasional.
Right.
I'm not really a social drinker. I won't really just have a drink. Like, if I'm going to drink, I'm sorry, I'm drinking to have some drinks, and that's it. And, so we decided that New Year's we were going to let loose, and it just so happened that Arbor Mist was like the drink of that year.
Arbor Mist.
Yes, Arbor Mist. There was a berry something, or I don't even know, but it was the drink. And we introduced it to a bunch of my aunts and my mom and I think my grandma, just a ton of people. And I decided to tell my mother then when she had imbibed more alcohol than I'd ever seen her drink in my life. And it was wine. And I was up against, I was in a laundry room, so I was up against some of that, like, silver, like, what do you call that, like, piping or, like, those vents or whatever.
Yeah.
And she didn't push me. Like, I don't want anyone to, think anything. She was trying to grab me to say why, and she, like, kind of fell a little bit. So people in the basement, like all of us younger folk, thought that they heard my mom, like, push me, and they knew what I was doing. So a couple people came running in. They're like, "Are you all right?" And my mom was really sad because her one thought, without even coming around, was, how am I going to ever be a grandmother? And it's important for me to tell you that because the thinking back in, 1999 still, I mean, barely just being accepted in the public. I mean, man, like, it was in the DSM-2 as basically a horrible disease.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, homosexuality was not... it was common back then, but it was kept under the rug. I had several people in my family who were gay and never really came out. And that's really sad. So anyway, not to take up too much time getting hung up on just this one situation, I came out to my mother, and it was not as welcoming as I had hoped. She asked me not to tell my grandmother, and that was very hard for me to not do because like my mother, my grandmother was the second most important person in my life, you know. And it was very hard because my mom didn't like the woman who I was with just because she didn't accept it. She didn't want to hear about it. It was hard. But I couldn't get mad at her because that was her right. And this is where I argue with a lot of people. You know, they want people to accept them right away, but they're not realizing that the other people want acceptance too. Just because you're one way doesn't mean that everyone has to fall in line. Some people need some time. And eventually they will come around. My mother did. If my mother came around, everybody's mother will eventually come around. Or father, or brother, or sister, or cat. Doesn't matter. Someone. And if they don't, then it's very hard. But sometimes people won't accept it, or it'll take years and years and years. But I like to say to myself that people will eventually come around. It just may take a lot longer than you think. My grandmother ended up dying in January of 2002. And before I got a chance to tell her, she told me. And it was a really good moment, though. No, it was a very good moment. And she said to me, probably about 3 weeks before she passed away, she had said, you know, I know that you're with so-and-so, and I've never really cared for this person, but if that's the person you intend to spend the rest of your life with, then I accept both of you. Now, this was my grandmother, a devout Christian woman, who told me that there wasn't anything that I couldn't do in this world that would make her stop loving me. It was the reaction that I wanted from my mother. But at the time, it was perfect because I got it from my grandmother. And I got to tell my mother that she said it.
Oh, God.
And, yeah. And so fast forwarding to quite some time ago, or fast forwarding way after that time, my mom has since come around. She walked me down the aisle along with my father at our wedding. And my mother loves Cari so much. She calls her daughter. She tells her she loves her. My mom came around. It took her quite some time. You know, I didn't really date that many people. You know, I was in a relationship for a long time, which I've told you guys somewhat about. And there weren't really that many in there, you know what I mean? But you know, a lot of people always ask me, when do you know that you met the one? Well, I know when I met Cari because I didn't care about anybody else. Every milestone that I had already had in dating, I wanted it to be from her. Everything cool in my life, I wanted it to be because of her. That's how I knew. And that's why it was important for me to let everyone in my life know how much she meant to me. So our coming out stories had a lot of ups and downs. As you can see in the beginning of this conversation, Cari was really nervous. But as time went on, she became really comfortable with...
A bit more, yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of the history of the blogs.
It is.
You know, it's been kind of up and down, but you've been like... ascending for like over a week now. It's pretty amazing.
I'm really trying.
Yeah. So, some final advice to people who are thinking about coming out to your parents. I can't tell you if your parents are going to accept. I can't tell you if you're going to have a parent like my mother in the beginning or like Cari's mother in the beginning. It's really hit or miss. But I can tell you how I felt finally coming out. Finally not keeping that secret anymore. It was amazing. It was a weight lifted off my shoulders.
It really is.
And if you can't get the support from your family, then there are other loved ones in your life who will give you that support. You just have to trust people. Friends, a counselor at school, someone. There is someone. And to quote the Trevor Project, it does get better. it may just take some time. Anything from you?
No.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this. It was nice saying it again. And I hope that things that we've said will help someone else.
Yeah.
I can't give you any advice for parents out there because I'm not a parent. It may be different for me. I may be biased. But I would like to think that if I have a child and in the future, they tell me that they're gay, I think that I'm going to be okay with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But more importantly, I hope that I raise a child who feels comfortable to come to me, to talk to me. And I don't want them to live in the fear that I had to live in. So I hope that you guys think about that. Even if you don't want to hear that your child's gay, think about that the fear that they're probably living with. And the uncertainty and how scared they are to come and talk to the one person who birthed them and who's supposed to love them unconditionally. Alright guys, well again, thank you for watching this. And yeah, we will catch you on the flippity. That's a good one.